Good morning, we're back up at the OGP and we need to do a few more things to the foam we put down in the last video to get it nice and secured, and then we can start getting our radiant piping in the ground so we can get our PEX piping. That's what I'm trying to say. I haven't finished all my coffee yet. So we got to get the foam secured that we were working on in the last video. In a few spots it's a little wavy, so I want to make sure everything's down nice and tight. So we go to pour the concrete. I can't talk this morning. None of the concrete gets under the foam, it all stays on top. So there's a few things I want to do there, and then we can get our PEX pipe down for our radiant heating, because we're gonna have radiant heat in the floor. That's just gonna be nice. We put a top over it the other day because it can get kind of windy up here, and we didn't want to come back to having the foam blown all over the place that we'd put down. So there's a few spots, like over by the pipe and then over in the center there, that hump up kind of high like this. If you push them down, it stays. So I'm gonna put some spray foam in there, weight it down while it dries, and then see what happens. We'll do that in a few spots. I just don't want, when we're pouring concrete to get under here and push this up. So I figure, I don't know, it might be a little overboard, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Staring at this green really messes with my eyes after I'm not up here, so I had to put my sunglasses on. And I'm curious now if I can bond the two different foams together with the spray foam. I think that'll work good. Let's start down this end and work this way. Alright, leave it in the comments down below. Are we going overboard doing this or not? I figured it was either this with the foam, or we had to put plastic sheets over in between where all this stuff meets. We're going to be having a closet in here, and then we'll have our shower. So I want to mark out our interior wall of where the closet's going to be, because this is where our water well pump's going to be, and this is where all the inside work for the radiant heat will be. So I just need to mark this all off. We'll have a wall here, have our footing here. So if we come up here with our PEX, all of our PEX piping we want to come up in this area. We're gonna have 3 runs, so we're gonna have 6 hoses stubbing up and out. So we'll plan on that here. I'm just trying to think. Our best bet is to start the runs for that side. We'll have 2 runs going this way, and then there'll be 1 run on this side. I was gonna do 3 runs this way, but I'm gonna do 1 run just over here this direction for the bathroom and the powerhouse area, and then we're gonna skip where that other footing is, and then we'll do our 2 runs on that side. And the reason I don't want the PEX piping radiant heat being where the footing is we're gonna have to attach a sill plate to the ground, and if I have radiant heat in the footing area, I could drive a screw into my PEX, and I don't want that to happen. So we're gonna skip that area, and then we'll go on that side. In this back area, we're gonna have a pantry. It's gonna be 4 feet wide and 14 feet deep. So in this area right here, I also do not want radiant heat because I don't want that much extra heat coming up out of the floor where we're gonna be having dry food storage. It'll just make it spoil quicker. So we'll leave the radiant heat out of this area, and this whole house is gonna be super insulated, so not having radiant heat in this spot's not gonna be a big deal. It'll just make our food last longer, whether that's potatoes, onions, garlic, dry food, whatever we have back here. So let's mark this 4 feet. I believe that's going to be 11, 12, 13, 14. So that area right there, we don't want any PEX in. Perfect. So I purchased 3 rolls of 1/2-inch PEX, and we have 300 feet per roll. I don't have a reel to reel these out on, so I don't know how much of a pain these are going to be to work with without having a reel. Now I was told you don't want to go over 300 feet for a run with the 1/2-inch PEX, and preferably 250 feet is even better. If you go too long of PEX piping, by the time your hot water gets to the end of the PEX piping, it's cooled off.
And then you want that going this way?
Just ran our first 300 feet of PEX, and it got us halfway in the kitchen area and living room area. So now we have this is mostly right here, it's going to be the living room area and hallway-ish. So we have 300 feet worth of PEX pipe to use here, but we got to get all the way back to that closet. So what we're going to do, I'm not sure if it's the exact proper way, is we're going to lay it out. We're going to go across this floor, stub it in, but then we're going to take it out, put all of our PEX pipe in this floor, and then zip tie this PEX on top of that PEX in the bathroom, instead of having to run all the way along the outside of the edge with its own run, because it'll take up way too much pipe and we won't have enough length in our 300 feet here. So we'll have a little bit of extra heat in the bathroom, but from all of my reading, everything that I read said if anything, you want to have more heat in your bathroom, so you'd want your PEX pipe closer together, if anything, in your bathroom, because most people want their bathroom the warmest. When they get out of their shower, they're nice and warm. So having these two little pieces of pipe in there will be a little bit of a bonus.
It's going super simple. The only part that takes a little bit extra time is when you want to loop back, but it's just lays down pretty easy. So I'm glad that we went with this, because what did you say we had to do if we didn't?
If we didn't, you'd have to put down like a wire mesh and zip tie this to your wire mesh, or put staples in the
Yeah, this seems so much simpler, I think. I mean, I haven't done it another way, so.
Well, the other thing that's kind of neat is the PEX pipe seems to be holding the foam together better too. It's just everything's tying together, making everything a little bit stronger. I'm glad I put the spray foam. That's kind of tied everything together, and it's made the ends aren't popping up. They're glued together. Everything's going to be watertight now. We don't have to worry about putting any plastic down. We don't have to worry about any air gaps. It's going to be a nice, warm slab.
And we're used to warm floors in our house now because our wood stove's in the basement, so it just has naturally warm floors. So to go from warm to cold floors, we probably wouldn't like it.
Probably not. So if I had to do this again on that side, with this being our first time, we should have started this last section on this outside wall and worked our way in. It's not the end of the world, but technically it would be better if we had our first set of radiant piping a foot off the wall and then worked our way in. It would be more efficient for heating if you opened your doors, and when you open your doors, it would warm up quicker in that spot. It's not going to be that big of a deal, because I mean, you're splitting hairs at this point, because this whole slab is going to be hot no matter what. So it just might take like a 30 seconds warmer to warm up when we open the door. But that being said, we're going to start the PEX for the bathroom on this outside wall and work our way in, versus working on this wall and working back that way. We want to make sure we get as close to that outside wall as we can. want to mark on them where each one of them is going. So in the bathroom, we kept the PEX a little bit closer, and then when we got into the powerhouse room, we spaced them another 6 inches apart, because the powerhouse room, that's going to be where all of our solar power, our solar equipment will be, which kind of generates its own heat. So we don't need to be super warm in there from the floor, because all the equipment in there is going to be running and making heat. We just need to make sure it stays warm. It doesn't need to be extremely warm with the heat from the house. So that's why we spaced that a little bit wider. We don't want to get that room too warm, because we don't want our equipment overheating either. Afterwards, I'm going to make a nice manifold area for all this stuff stubbing out of the ground, but I want to get the PEX pipe from the living room over here, and we're going to zip tie it to some of the PEX pipe in the bathroom. Alright, now we're going to run these pipes from the kitchen over here. We've got inside kitchen. Perfect. Now we can get the manifold area built and get this all stubbed up out of the ground nicely. It's a nice, beautiful, foggy, chilly morning this morning up here at the OGP. This morning I need to work on making a kind of like a manifold for our PEX piping. I need to make sure all of our PEX piping for the radiant heat is stubbed out of the ground nicely, so when we go to pour the concrete, it doesn't get buried. We've been covering up with a tarp because we've been getting rain here and there, and then tomorrow they're predicting of over an inch of rain. So I'm not sure what the tarp is going to look like when we come back after that. That's tomorrow's worry. Today, we're going to be working on our PEX. want to make sure our radiant PEX heating tubing stays at least 6 inches in from the outside, so that way we're not inside our exterior wall. So put this on 6-inch mark. And then I picked up some sweep 90s. I had to get 1.5 inch. They didn't have any 1-inch sweep 90s, so I've got an idea. Maybe I can put 2 lines in one 90 instead of having to do 6. So let's see if that works first. I get some duct tape. I know we're getting a lot of comments about the way we're doing our foundation here, and a lot of people don't like it. This is the way we did our bond foundation, and there's not one crack in that foundation. It's the way we did our outdoor kitchen foundation. I know lots and lots of people who have done these, and they've not had any issue. I know somebody who's built over 400 buildings this way and has not had any issues with it. So I am not bothered by the way we're doing this foundation. Everything's gonna hold up good. Pipes in, get them in 190. Boom. Come on. Ah, there we go. We're not going to tape all this PEX up to this 2x4 yet because we got to put the tarp back on. And if they want to bend over, that's fine. But for right now, I like how we have our, I'm going to call it our PVC manifold coming out of the concrete. This will keep this all nice and clean inside of our closet area. That's going to be perfect.
So what I like to do at least twice a week is to roast 2 chickens. And the reason I do that is so then last night we had a roasted chicken for dinner, and then tonight I'm going to use the pre-cooked chicken to make this dish, and then we can have chicken salad or chicken wrap or something with chicken for lunches. So it gets a bunch of different meals kind of taken care of. Just some brown rice. I have some mushrooms that I had in the pantry. The broccoli is frozen from the garden earlier in the season. The chicken is from our harvest this year and that I had roasted last night's supper. What else? The peppers and the onions were all from the garden.
Dear Lord, thank you for the wonderful day. Amen. We still need to make a manifold so we can pressure test all the PEX and make sure there's no leaks. There shouldn't be, but you never know. And before we get concrete on that, we want to test it out. We're putting the PEX in, or I was putting the PEX in the ground, or should I say, we are putting the PEX in the ground for radiant heat, but I was putting it in the ground, or the concrete I should say, for later on. So when we want to have radiant heat in there, we can do it. But now I'm kind of thinking that maybe we should just go ahead and do that as our heat source right from the beginning, instead of putting something else for a heat source out there, or like a smaller wood stove or something out there to heat the area. If we do, what I'm thinking is an outdoor boiler outside. If we do that now and oversize it for the tiny house and get it big enough so it's big enough to do the tiny house, which later on will be an outdoor kitchen, and then we can have it do the house and also the workshop. So it's kind of spending a little bit more money right now, but in the long run it's going to save us money, if that makes sense. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. That's kind of what we're leaning towards right now and thinking about doing. Let us know what you think. Thanks for coming along on our homesteading journey. You guys are a huge blessing to us in our homestead. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, share it. It really helps. And we'll see you right back here in the next video at Lumnah Acres. Bye.